Hey there, welcome to the soil room at Wallish Greenhouses. I have a question for you. What is the difference between soil and dirt? Hi everyone, I'm Sharon, and this is our soil room where the magic of growing great annuals and perennials begins. Soil is foundational for plant growth, and its importance cannot be overstated. There is a direct correlation between soil quality and plant outcomes, and a good soil should be able to carry your plant through the entire season. So let's dig in for a few minutes and talk about what a good soil looks like and what it should provide for optimal plant growth, specifically for annual container plantings. To state the obvious, soil serves as an anchor for roots. As roots grow, their microscopic root hairs extend out looking for air, water, and fertilizer. For that to happen, soil needs to be loose and well aerated, providing plenty of air pockets to allow for oxygen and cation exchange to happen at a microscopic level. When you scoop up soil, it should feel moist, gritty, and fluffy all at the same time. Another thing you need to find in a good soil is that it has a high water and fertilizer holding capacity to ensure that water and nutrients are always available for the plant's metabolic needs. A good soil should act like a sponge as it takes up water, but it should also drain really well. If a soil does not drain well, what happens is the roots get waterlogged and essentially they suffocate, and that oxygen and cation exchange cannot happen. Another thing that prevents that kind of exchange to happen is when you are planting your annual containers and you push the soil down really firm, what that does is it compresses the air spaces and compromises that exchange. Plants also thrive, annual plants also thrive in a pH neutral environment. So you need to have a soil that maintains pH. And we're going to talk about pH next as we discuss the basic building blocks of a great soil. So what makes a good potting soil? Basically, you only need three things. Peat moss serves as a foundation. Peat moss also has a great water holding capacity. And one thing to remember about peat moss is acidic. The real golden ticket to a great potting soil, though, is composted bark. Composted bark adds that sponge-like water and fertilizer holding capacity, but yet still lets it drain. And composted bark is alkaline. Composted bark balances out the peat moss acidity to make that pH neutral environment that we were talking about that annuals grow so well in. And the last thing you need in a great potting soil is perlite. Perlite is the little white specks that you see in the soil. It keeps the soil well aerated to maintain those air pockets we were also talking about. An interesting thing about perlite is made from volcanic glass that is superheated until it pops. Well, out in the marketplace, you will find potting soils that have other things added to them, like vermiculite. Vermiculite adds more water holding capacity, but we find it redundant if you have the composted bark. You don't really need it. It's not really that necessary. And also you'll find potting soils that have fertilizer added to it. We choose not to use potting soils or soils with fertilizer added because we like to know what we have added as far as fertilizer goes. You never quite know what you have in there and how much fertilizer plants have. It's kind of like using salted and unsalted butter. When you use unsalted, you always know how much salt you've added to any kind of recipe. So the question, where do you find this kind of soil? Most often you'll find them at greenhouses and garden centers, and the answer to the question at the beginning, you sweep dirt off the floor and you find soil in pots and containers. Have a great day.